In this video, we're going to discuss cinnamon spice and everything nice. Well, 7 benefits of it anyways. This super spice is not only delicious, but it has powerful medicinal properties. Keep watching and make sure you stay until the end so you can see 7 different benefits of regular old cinnamon. Sasha, my name is Sasha and welcome to today's episode. Before we begin, I'd like to mention something, and it is very important. So these facts have all been evidence-based, and they do have research behind them, so it's not just something I pulled off of a blog. I actually looked into the background science studies and all that, so make sure you start to incorporate these into your diet and your life to spice things up. Cinnamon contains a substance called cinnamaldehyde, and what cinnamaldehyde does is it provides the powerful medicinal properties of cinnamon. Before I get to the number 1 benefit of using cinnamon, I'm going to tell you a quick little history bite on cinnamon because I find it really interesting. Perhaps you will too. Cinnamon usage has been around forever, you can say. Well, at least dating back to ancient Egypt. Back in the day, cinnamon used to be a rare commodity, so it was valuable enough to be a gift fit for royalty, and people used to actually bring this to kings and queens. Let's get back on track. So cinnamon comes from the inner bark of a tree, which I wrote down the name because I am having so much trouble pronouncing this. It is called cinnamomum. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. And the number 1 benefit is that it's now easily accessible in various grocery and health food stores. You can get it in recipe, it's a commonly used ingredient, so it's not that difficult to attain cinnamon. There are 2 varieties of cinnamon. There is cassia cinnamon, which is the more common one that you can find in most stores, and the second one is a true cinnamon known as Ceylon cinnamon. And I've been able to find the Ceylon cinnamon in basically any store. You just find it from the little spice rack. It's usually not an issue. As you may know, cinnamon has a very distinct smell and taste. And you might wonder, why is that? Where does it come from? Basically, it comes from a substance that's contained in the oily part of cinnamon, and it's called cinnamaldehyde. There's a high amount of this compound in the oily part, and science suggests this is actually where cinnamon gets its powerful medicinal qualities. Number 2, cinnamon has anti-inflammatory properties. Some schools of thought suggest that inflammation is the underlying cause of all illnesses. Now, although inflammation is instrumental when it comes to repairing damage, tissue damage, or fighting off infections, it can become problematic when it's chronic and your body begins attacking its own tissues. Studies show that cinnamon has potent anti-inflammatory properties, and this can greatly reduce your risk of disease. Cinnamon is packed with antioxidants. I feel like I'm always talking about antioxidants, but the reason is because they are so important. They are important because they're what's protecting your body from oxidative damage caused by free radicals, and you're bombarded by free radicals on a daily basis. Free radicals are unstable molecules, and they can damage your cells, leading to aging and illness. As I mentioned, you're constantly being bombarded with these free radicals. So where are they coming from? What are these free radical generating machines, if you will? Well, it's in fried foods, it's in tobacco smoke, it's in the environment, insecticides, and even alcohol. So as I mentioned, they are in our environment, and what I mean by that is they're in air pollutants that are all around us. Cinnamon is loaded with powerful antioxidants, including polyphenols. I looked at some research that studied 26 different spices and the antioxidant activity within each of them. In this study, they found that cinnamon actually outranked superfoods, including those such as oregano and garlic. Fun fact, cinnamon can be used as a natural food preservative. That's how much of a super spice this is. Cinnamon may cut the risk of heart disease by improving key factors that actually cause heart disease. Heart disease is still the #1 killer in America, and it's also the world's most common cause of premature death. Now, what are the key factors that lead to heart disease? I'm going to give you 3 of them. Number 1 is triglycerides. Number 2, LDL or bad cholesterol. And number 3, blood pressure. And to wrap up this section, I'm just going to read through 4 little tidbits from my notes on 4 different studies, and also I don't want to mess up the measurements, so I'm just going to, again, read directly off of these. So number 1, research has found that a cinnamon dose of just 120 milligrams per day can have these effects and increase HDL or good cholesterol. Alright, so 120 milligrams per day. Number 2, blood pressure was reduced with cinnamon intake in animal studies. Number 3, consuming 1 gram or about half a teaspoon per day has beneficial effects on blood markers for people with type 2 diabetes. So that's only 1 gram or half a teaspoon. And last but not least, this one is important, so sit tight. Cinnamon decreases levels of total cholesterol, bad, and again that's the LDL cholesterol, and triglycerides, while the good, which is the HDL cholesterol, remains stable. There you have it. Next fact. Cinnamon lowers your blood sugar levels. It lowers the blood sugar levels by increasing or improving the sensitivity to the hormone known as insulin. Now, the reason insulin is so important is that it's one of the main hormones that regulates your metabolism and also your energy use. Insulin is also important when it comes to transporting blood sugar from your bloodstream to your blood cells. And some people can be insulin resistant. So when it comes to this type of situation, cinnamon has been shown to substantially increase the sensitivity to insulin. This spice has a pretty strong anti-diabetic effect because it's working on lowering your blood sugar. Alright, so without going into too much detail, cinnamon is basically working on reducing the amount of glucose that's entering your bloodstream after you eat something. After that happens, it's going to act on the cells and mimic insulin, therefore improving the glucose uptake. So to reap the benefits of this property of cinnamon, how much are you going to take? Let me check really quick. An effective dose is generally 1 to 6 grams or half to 2 teaspoons of cinnamon per day. And I'll share with you a way to incorporate that in for number 7. Cinnamon may protect against cancer. And now cancer, everybody knows what it is now, right? You hear about it more and more all the time. But why are they not focusing on prevention as the cure? I don't know. Let's get back to this though. Now, when it comes to cancer and cinnamon, there is extensive research that's found in test tube studies as well as animal studies that the cinnamon extracts can be protection against cancer, and also it can be a potential treatment for cancer. How does it work? So the compounds in cinnamon are reducing the growth of cancer cells, and on top of that, they're reducing the formation of blood vessels in the tumors. Essentially, it seems to be toxic to the cancer cells, causing cell death. And I'm gonna share 2 findings with you from my notes really quick. I'm just gonna read off because it's interesting and I don't wanna mess anything up. So one of the studies I looked at was research on mice with colon cancer. And basically, this study concluded that the spice was a powerful activator and it detoxified enzymes in the colon and protected the mice against further cancer growth. Next, there was a follow-up study, and this one was on test tubes. So let me refer back to my notes again. And this study basically supported the findings of the mice study, and it showed cinnamon was an activator of protective antioxidant responses in human colon cells. Now, even though these 2 findings are pretty promising, there aren't actually any human trials done to prove or disprove these findings. But my motto is, why not have some spice in your life? It's not gonna hurt you. If anything, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Cinnamon is easy to add to various things. You can put it in smoothies, you can put it in your cereal, you can put it in baked goods. I don't know how you want to eat it. But let's find out my favorite way to have my cinnamon. Let's head to the kitchen. Are you coming? Let's go. So that's my favorite way of having my cinnamon. I like to wake up to a bowl of fresh berries, also loaded with antioxidants, apparently my favorite things, and sprinkled with cinnamon. However, I'm open to a lot of new ideas, and if you have any, or if you want to share how you have your cinnamon spice, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day.